Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Nobody Speaks podcast. This is going to be episode 1.5. The reason why I say 1.5 is I'm going to be doing this podcast bi-weekly with guests. But I'm thinking on the off weeks, I'm just going to do quick little episodes going over some reviews, some current news, things that are going on, review new music, new movies, new shows, things along those lines. And today I wanted to talk about a new single that just dropped by Frank Turner. Frank Turner is a singer-songwriter from England. For those of you that don't know his music, he's definitely one of my favorite singer-songwriters as of late. And he just released a new single called A Wave Across a Bay. It's a pretty beautiful but really heavy song. So back in, let's see, when was this? 2000. On May 11th, 2018, Scott Hutchinson was found dead at 36 years old. Scott was the singer of the Scottish band Frightened Rabbits. So this new song is about Frank Turner's friendship with Scott, and it's a tribute to him. Now, this is the second single off of the album that is not out yet. It's called Frank Turner Hardcore. Looking forward to the record. With this album, what the first single is Miranda, which is another pretty heavy subject where Frank Turner dives into the relationship between him and his father that was very rocky. They were estranged for many years. They didn't get along. They didn't really have much of a relationship. And Frank's father then transitioned into being Miranda and is transgendered. So it's a beautiful, beautiful song about the repairing of their relationship. And in a weird way, it's a beautiful song about a man who clearly was struggling with who he is as a man and as a person and as a human being. And it's an amazing song, great story, and it is 100% worth checking out. So please do so. Now, this second single, being on another heavy subject, is interesting. Frank Turner is one of those songwriters who tends to be able to make very heavy emotional things and dark things very beautiful. Those of you who know him also know his song Long Live the Queen, about his friend Lexi who passed away. Now, these subjects aren't always easy for songwriters to write about. I lost one of my closest friends growing up when I was 18, and I've never been able to write a song about her passing. It's not always an easy thing to do. As a songwriter, wearing your heart on your sleeve is difficult. Sometimes it's therapeutic. Sometimes it's very hard. You have to find the right way to say it, and sometimes you're afraid. How will it sound? How will it come across? So A Wave Across a Bay is an amazingly beautiful, touching song that I literally have to fight back tears every time I listen to. In 2018, I was driving back from upstate New York to Long Island, and I was listening to Spotify, and I was listening to Frank Turner, and then I started to hop onto what would be a Frank Turner radio station. And it started playing Frightened Rabbits. To be honest with you, I'd only heard them in the background here or there, and I was immediately drawn to these very well put together. It's hard to describe. Is it indie rock? Is it this? I don't know. Fuck titles. It was fantastic. I was so pumped. I immediately dove into listening to a bunch of their songs, bouncing around from album to album, and I was like, oh my God, I discovered a new band. I'm so pumped. Now, I was driving back that night from upstate because I was visiting family and I had to head back to go to St. Vitus in Brooklyn to see Frank Turner. Frank was playing a solo acoustic show there. Now, Frank Turner plays solo. He also plays with a full band. And this was a time to kind of see him acoustic again, as he's been really doing a lot more with a full band, and I was pretty pumped. I'm watching the show. I actually have some video of some of the songs that I'm going to post one of the songs on my YouTube channel. So you can go to theantoniolongo.com, and that will bring you to my YouTube channel, which will have these episodes of the podcast, as well as just videos that I've taken, songs of mine and things. So I will post a live song from Frank Turner's set that night. But that night, Frank had told a story about when he first played a festival that Frightened Rabbits played. He said he was a big fan. He said he kind of worked his way into seeing them and getting into whether it was their dressing room or whatever it may be. He was like, I was determined to be friends with them. I was determined to meet them. And he did. And him and Scott Hutchinson became very good friends. Now, I had no clue that he had died by suicide. So I was kind of taken back when he was telling the story of him at that show and dedicating a song to him. And I was really bummed out. I was like, wow, I'll never get to see him perform live. I'll never get to see them. And, you know, I started thinking back and like to some of the song lyrics that I was hearing, and I was like, wow, I mean, he was definitely pouring his heart out, and you can almost hear how slightly tortured of a soul he was. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Elliott Smith is one of my favorite singer-songwriters of all time. And when I listened to From a Basement, that album he was recording before he died by suicide. And you can kind of hear it in the lyrics, in the tone, that he was struggling with something very heavy while recording and writing those songs. So that's what I mean when I say that. It's hard sometimes to hide those emotions. And, you know, depression is something very heavy. Anxiety is something very heavy. It's something that I didn't realize I struggled with until I was way older. And it's can be very, very torturous for some people. And if you're out there listening and you have those feelings, talk to somebody. You know, reach out. It's okay. It's okay to say that I need help. It's okay to say that I'm sad. It's okay to need people. We tend to, as a human race, shy away from people or run when we're scared or depressed. And I just encourage you to open up and find someone to talk to. So, the song covers the situation. It's a beautiful tribute, and I don't even think I can really pay much love to it, and I can't really quite play it on the show. But I want you to go to whatever streaming site or YouTube, and I want you to go listen to that song and come back to the episode. So I'm giving you time to pause and go listen. Okay, so I hope you paused and I hope you're listening. Frank Turner literally even goes into the description of him falling into the water. In an interview, Frank Turner states, I still miss my friend Scott every day. His passing left such a huge hole in so many lives. I wrote this song in his honor and memory. It was hard to write and record, but I think it does the man some small justice. And that's what I'm saying. When you're writing a song for someone, you can play it for them. In this instance, it's something that couldn't be played. And there's got to be that internal feeling of, would Scott have liked it? And those are some of those things that probably make it hard to write. You know, this is now 4 years passing, and I don't know when it is that Frank Turner wrote the song, but it clearly took 4 years to get it right, written, recorded, and out. So, and to drop it as a single before the album is got to be one of those difficult decisions to make. Like I said, he has now dropped 2 singles on a record that are both deal with very intense emotional things. And kudos to him as a songwriter for taking a stand on what he feels, on sharing parts of his life. You know, telling the story of his father transitioning to being a woman and the repairing of their relationship in the song Miranda had to be difficult enough to kind of really air your family's dirty laundry out there. But again, it's a beautiful thing that he can go and encourage other people who have been feeling that way internally. My oldest sibling is transgendered. And I will never forget that phone call when at the time she called me and told me. And, you know, it wasn't very common or out there yet. And, you know, I had my questions and things. But at the end of the day, I've sat there and said, like, I don't care. You're still you, and I still love you. And I think about how many people are scared to have that conversation. How many people are scared to take that chance to transition, and then how their loved ones might feel. So now take that a step further and say, well, how is someone that I love, that I've hurt, gonna feel about it? So, you know, now Frank Turner had a chance to know his father as Miranda, and now the two of them are repairing a relationship, and that's amazing. Estranged parents is not easy. My father left when I was very young, and he showed up back in my life when I was like 18, 19, and I tried very hard to form a relationship, but it was really difficult. So I can't imagine, you know, trying to repair that, as well as taking in the last time I saw you, you're a man, now you're a female. But I think that Miranda was struggling internally and took that frustration out on Frank. And now it's a story that's going to encourage people, and it's a great song. And I'm so looking forward to this album. If these are 2 things that he's able to turn into phenomenal songs, I cannot see there being a bad song on this record. And, you know, Frank Turner, for me, has never put out a bad album. So this one is a little bit more upbeat, a little bit heavier guitars, a little bit going more into the rock and roll punk rock roots that Frank Turner comes from. So it is, which is good. I don't want to hear the same record over and over again. So many bands get stuck into a rhythm or a hole, and you can or can't roll with it. And sometimes it's controversial to say. Like, I like Bad Religion, but I feel like they've been putting out the same record for 30 years, and some people want to crucify me for that. And people I am really close with love that band, and I think they're a great band, and I respect the fucking shit out of them. But to me, it's just been very the same thing. And I don't mind when a band steps out of their comfort zone to write a different feel to their album. Now, I'm not trying to say go out and write differently or anything like that, but also don't keep spitting out this same comfortability. Like, we all grow as humans. You grow as a musician. You deal with different things in life. I mean, topics as you get older in music will change. Having kids, I know, opened my eyes and had me writing a little bit differently because you look at life differently. So the evolution of Frank as a singer-songwriter coming from punk rock is pretty awesome. It's been a fun ride. I remember first seeing him on the Revival Tour, which is Chuck Reagan from Hot Water Music puts out that tour, or used to. That's where I first saw Austin Lucas, who is a phenomenal singer-songwriter and a good friend of mine. I remember seeing, who else has been on that tour? Dan Adriano from Alkaline Trio. It's a fun, great tour, so you can click around and find some of that stuff on YouTube and things. So Frank's first time, I think, really touring majorly in the United States as a singer-songwriter was on that tour. And I saw them at Irving Plaza, and I've been a fan ever since. That was probably, maybe 12, 13, 14 years ago. Time flies. I've seen Frank a bunch of times, so they all kind of mold into one. But, definitely check that out. There has been some stuff put out from those tours. But Frank Turner has a large discography of music. So if you're listening to this and checking it out for the first time, I hope that I'm able to share something with you. Just wanted to give you a quick review on the first 2 singles from Frank Turner's upcoming album and just shed a little light and love on it. For 2022, there's some great music already on the horizon with those singles, as well as some full lengths by some great bands. One of those bands is also, I'm going to give a little shout out and love to, is Fit for an Autopsy. It's a little bit more heavy hardcore metal. My buddy Joe Bad sings for them. They have a new album, Oh, What the Future Holds, and that could not be a better title for the state of what's going on in the music world and just the world in general with everything. So if you dig the heavier type of music, definitely check out that album. So that's kicking off 2022, punching it right in the face. Hopefully on the podcast, we will get to sit down and talk to Joe Bad from the road. Planning on doing that hopefully in the near future as a future guest. So dive in and check that album out for sure. So again, thanks for tuning in to this quick little episode of the Nobody Speaks podcast, episode 1.5. I did just record episode number 2. That is going to be out next week. So please follow, share on all the social media and all that fun stuff. It's Nobody Speaks Pod on Instagram. TheAntoniolongo.com will give you everything that I do and links to all that. YouTube, both of my podcasts, and everything music and all that fun jazz. So again, share, subscribe, spread the love, spread the word. Check out Frank Turner's 2 new singles. Check out Fit for an Autopsy. And I can't wait to bring you guys some more interviews and reviews and things upcoming in the future. All right, be good to each other. I wasn't speaking to you.